versus shooting to kill. A lot of times we hear discussion, we talk about police brutality. Why didn't they take this shot? Can't they just injure a criminal? And that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, there's so many ways and places I can go in regards to that question, because there are, believe it or not, there are actually laws in this nation that govern a police use of force. If you want to write down a few titles, you have Graham versus Connor, and Tennessee versus Garner. Graham versus Connor, Tennessee versus Garner, which basically established the parameters by which officers, when and how they're able to use force, which makes it legal and justified. So when we look at, a lot of times people say, well, why didn't the cop shoot the gun out of the guy's hand, or shoot him in the leg? And I said, and I pretty much always say, you've been watching too many movies. I mean, because let's be real. I mean, I was a firearms instructor, and every police agency has a different standard. And we used to have a standard about like 75% when a police officer goes and qualifies. And I would always argue that that standard is too low because of the amount of responsibility that the officer has. You carry a gun with you for 40 hours a week. And, but like I said, I can go down a whole rabbit hole on that. But in all reality, when an officer shoots, he doesn't shoot with the intent to kill. You have to understand that. An officer shoots under the parameters or with the mindset of to stop the threat. Because when an officer fires a gun, he's responsible for every bullet where it goes down range. And if I try to shoot a gun out of somebody's hand and it misses that little target, I mean, I got a big hand. You try to shoot that gun, you try to shoot that out of my hand with stress from the possibility of potentially having to take a live fire a gun at someone, add to that fatigue, add to that the movement of the hand, and I miss, and that bullet goes down range or goes down the street and hits some schoolyard and hits some little kid. Officers shoot primarily at center mass. That's the body. That's the largest target. Because of that fact that he or she is responsible for every bullet that they fire. And if you miss and you were saying you were trying to shoot them in the leg, they'd be like, well, that's not how you were taught.
Right.
And since when does shooting someone in the legs stop them? Like all of a sudden, I'm just gonna throw the gun, just drop the gun. If someone has ill intent, I've seen people take 20 shots and keep coming. If you are high on PCP, methamphetamines, we can go on and on about this. If you lived in the hood or you've seen worked in the medical field, you've probably seen people who become superhuman. I'm a big dude, I'm not a little guy. Martial arts background, all that kind of stuff. I've had to battle with some people that who's small around here? Oh man, stand up for a second. I've had to battle with dudes his size. Wow. How tall are you? How much do you weigh, if you don't mind?
5'5", 115.
5'5", 115?
Yeah.
My goodness.
Only a man would do that. No woman would ever stand up, put herself on display, and get like her measurements.
That's
that is male privilege. My goodness.
But in all actuality, I've had to battle with guys his size who are mentally ill and who are drug induced, because it's almost as if they become superhuman. We have to take into consideration all the factors that relate when it comes to an issue of an officer shooting. The backdrop, the movement of the suspect, and the officer's ability to hit the shot. And sadly, you have a lot of vital organs in there, and that shot may be but if it escalates to the point to where you have to pull your gun, it's already escalated to a point to where deadly force has been considered an option. So we just have to try to understand those.